look at your Louboutins and think, who am I kidding? I could never wear these outside of the house. They're gonna think I'm trying too hard. Oh my God, what if I fall on my ass in front of everyone? Same. Yo también. I used to think confidence would come first. Like one day I would just magically feel ready to wear them. Spoiler alert, that day never came. Confidence doesn't just show up on your doorstep like an Amazon package. You build it by showing up even when you don't feel ready. In this video, I'll show you how I went from, do I even deserve this? To, damn right I do, and you do too. Let's go from UGG mode to Louboutin mode. I've noticed that there's really two core types of fears that may be working together to keep you from walking out that door. The first fear is the spotlight. It's made up of a lot of different types of worries and fears, which ultimately come down to one thing. Everyone's gonna be looking at you. You're worried about judgment. What are people gonna think and say? You're worried, am I gonna look overdressed? Are they gonna think I'm trying too hard? That uncomfortable feeling that you are the only one dressed nice in a room full of sneakers and t-shirts and jeans. Worried about your physical ability. Can I even handle walking around in such high heels? Or am I gonna look like an idiot limping around? All of those worries, they're all the same fear. That fear of being seen and judged. The second fear is the fear of unworthiness. This may include thoughts like, do I even deserve this? Do I even deserve to take up so much space? Or am I even good enough? Am I even important enough to wear these? And then finally is that fear of selfishness. And this one is very complicated because it includes both core areas. It's that fear of being on the spotlight, but also that fear that you're not worthy. That fear, I feel like, is very critical for the other mamas out there. It's that fear that you're being selfish because you're doing something so nice for yourself. We're gonna break down all of these fears. And then after we go through all of those fears, I'm gonna give you actionable tools, things you can implement right now in your daily life that will help you overcome those fears. They're things that I have implemented in my own life. They're tools that I'm hoping will help you with your own transformation. Now, most people think the spotlight is the scary part, but here's what I learned. You can handle people staring. You can handle the comments. You can even handle the haters. But you know what's harder? Believing you deserve to be seen in the first place. So let's start there. Because if you don't believe you're worthy, no amount of preparation will get you out that door. Some of you may be feeling like, do I even deserve this? Am I even good enough to wear these? I definitely felt that one a lot. I grew up in a trailer park. I don't tell you that just to, be like, oh, poor me, but I grew up pretty poor, and so we never had designer anything. And I know a lot of you are probably in a similar boat. Most people do not grow up wearing designer clothes, especially at the Christian Louboutin level. Louboutin is usually reserved for like celebrities on the red carpet. Going from that and then making my way through life to the point where I could actually afford to get myself a pair of Louboutins is a big deal. Now, you may be in a similar situation. Maybe you grew up poor with a single parent like I did, or maybe you grew up in a neighborhood that wasn't that great. If you've gotten to that point in life where you can actually afford to get yourself a pair of Louboutins, that in itself is amazing. To start out not having a lot and working your way up to the point where you can build a beautiful life for yourself, to the point where you can actually afford to buy designer shoes for yourself or for your family. At the same time, even though you worked your way up physically, you may still not feel emotionally like you deserve it. I sometimes still feel like emotionally that I am still a trailer park kid. If you're feeling that on the inside, that is a lot harder to work through to the point where you really truly understand emotionally that you do deserve it. Even though everything around you may be nice, may be fancy, you still may feel internally like you're still only good enough for that neighborhood. That is what we're working on here today. is getting yourself emotionally to the point where you know you deserve it. Everyone on the outside may see it. They may see, oh my God, you are so amazing, you know, where you came from to where you worked your way to now. But it's a lot harder for you to see that on the inside. So if you're feeling that way on the inside, if you're feeling like, you know what, I don't know if I deserve this. I don't know if I'm good enough. I'm not fancy enough. I didn't grow up in the right neighborhood. I didn't go to the right schools. Just know that that is the exact reason why you are good enough. You worked your ass off to get to where you are, and you definitely deserve it. The shoes don't make you a better person, but they remind you that you've always been worthy. You've always been good enough. You may not have been able to see that in the past, but I hope now you see it. There was that one question where both core fears collide. That fear of the spotlight and that fear of unworthiness coming together. Am I being selfish? On the one hand, I was worried about other people judging me. But on the other hand, I was worried internally about what I thought about myself. I was wondering, am I being selfish? Do I actually deserve to prioritize myself like this? That is where external judgment and internal guilt meet. And that's the question that usually stops most mamas at the door. So let me share with you what my daughters taught me. I know for me personally, I was worried about people thinking or saying, why the hell is she spending so much money on her shoes when she could be spending that money on her kids? My kids don't see it that way. My husband doesn't. My daughters honestly don't know the price difference between this pair of red bottoms and this pair of frozen Tip Taps from Walmart. They don't know the difference. My daughter loves these shoes almost as much as she loves these. These are her favorite pair of Louboutins. My daughter puts these on and she feels so beautiful, so confident, and she calls them her Louboutins. If I painted these red, she would probably think that they're Louboutins. But that's what Louboutins mean to them. When they see Louboutins, they're not seeing expensive shoes. They see their mother getting up every morning, putting these on and looking in the mirror and smiling instead of criticizing all my flaws. They see me go from shrinking on the inside to standing up tall and proud and taking up my own space. They see me confident enough to walk into any room and feel like I own it. So to them, it's not mommy wears expensive shoes. It's
mommy's confident. Mommy respects herself. And mommy knows her worth.
That's what I'm teaching them. And that's what I'm portraying to them every time I wear them. They're watching me. They're learning from me. And I want them to know that it's okay for them to take care of themselves too. That investing in yourself, it's not selfish. It's healthy and it's necessary. The lesson is self-worth, and that lesson is priceless. Here's the thing. Once their needs and a lot of their wants are met, it's okay to do something nice for yourself. It's okay to take care of yourself too. You're allowed to do that. Don't let anyone tell you different. The best thing you can give your kids isn't another toy that they're just gonna forget about. It's showing them that you know you matter too. I don't want them to grow up not feeling confident, not feeling like they can't invest in themselves. So no, you're not being selfish. You're teaching them one of life's most important lessons, that you have to believe you're worth it before anyone else will. And every time I put them on, I'm proving that to them. The shoes are just the tool. They're just the symbol, because that happens to be what makes me feel like my best self. I'm assuming since you're watching this video that you're in the same boat. But if not, then whatever makes you feel like your best self, that's your tool. For me, it just happens to be Louboutins. Some days I put the shoes on for me because I want to feel good about myself. But honestly, most days I put them on for them because they're watching me. And I want their example to be a woman who knows her worth. Love you.
Thank you. I love you, Mommy.
So don't worry about what other people think. The people who are important will know the difference. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. People are going to notice your shoes. Most people are going to love them. Most people will be really nice. But you may have some haters, and they may say, always remember the famous quote by Salt and Peppa. Opinions are like a-holes and everybody's got one. That has literally been my anthem anytime someone has said to me. Here's the thing that no one tells you. You will get way more positive comments than negative ones. People will stop you to be like, oh my God, I love those shoes. They're so amazing. You'll get all of those nice, beautiful comments that you're hoping to get way more often than you'll get a hater comment. I promise. And the one thing that I want you to keep in the back of your mind, if and when you do get hater comments, is that the haters will die off a lot sooner than the people who love and admire and appreciate the shoes. For me, it was about 3 weeks. And I'm positive it'll be the same for you. Now, I never get any negative comments ever. All I get are the positive ones. The ones that come up and are like, oh my God, I love those shoes. They're so amazing. Those are the only comments I get now. Because once the haters realize that you're not changing for them, they'll move on. They will give up and they will move on. I'm not going to send you out unprepared. Let's get you mentally prepped to get through this. Write a list down of the things that you're afraid of people either saying or thinking. Do it now before the day comes. And go through that list. And first, go through and only pick out the items that are really going to bother you, that are really going to hurt you. Go through now while you have time and think of a response. Just think, if someone said that to you, what would your ideal response be? The one response that is going to make you feel good and shut the situation down. There's 2 funny responses that I always have in my back pocket that I'm going to share with you, because funny responses are really disarming. So it shuts down the situation fast. The first thing that I say is, some people collect stamps. I collect shoes. And then the last one is, if Carrie Bradshaw can prioritize shoes, so can I. I love this response because, especially if there's a bunch of other people around, everyone's gonna laugh because they're gonna get the reference. And I think a lot of people can relate to Carrie Bradshaw and her love of shoes. I found that funny responses really diffuse the situation quickly. There may be some people that you have to have a super direct response with, but I found that having a really funny comment like that really shuts down the situation. And like I said, you can always walk away. If you do need to use a response that is a little more direct, here's a few examples to get you started on brainstorming those responses. Always remember, the goal isn't to get into arguments with people, it's to shut down judgment quickly and move on. Most of the time, honestly, I'll just smile and I'll walk away. I did get some haters that would complain about my shoes being uncomfortable, as if it affected them. So they would complain like, we can't take the stairs right now, we gotta take the elevator because of our shoes. Or we can't walk to lunch, now we gotta drive. So I would just look at them and say, these are my walking shoes. Deal with it. Like, these are my walking shoes. I'm not gonna wear Uggs to work. These are my walking shoes. And then I would walk away in my shoes because I can. On top of that, if I felt like taking the steps or if I felt like walking to lunch, I would just do it in my Louboutins because I can. If you get comments like that, use my go-to. Just say, these are my walking shoes, deal with it, and then walk away because you can. But if you don't, if you want to take the elevator, then screw it. Everybody else is taking the elevator. You walk into a room and everybody's there in jeans and sneakers, and you're sitting there wearing a blazer and red bottoms. Suddenly you feel awkward. You feel like the spotlight's on you, like everybody's just watching you. If you're worried about feeling overdressed, let me be clear on one thing. You are not overdressed. They're underdressed, period. But I get it. That feeling is real. And it is really uncomfortable when it happens. Here's what I've learned. That feeling is temporary. Yeah, the first few times you wear them out, you feel a little awkward, right? You feel a little overdressed compared to everybody else. But after the first few times, something shifts. There's a change, and you stop feeling so overdressed. Those fancy shoes, they become an extension of you at some point, and it's usually very early on. You just get so used to wearing them that they just become a part of you. They become a part of your outfit and a part of your confidence. If other people aren't dressed at the same level as you, that's not your problem. You're setting the standard and you're setting the bar high. And yeah, some people aren't gonna like that, because you dressing as you is gonna make them realize that they're underdressed. But it still doesn't change the fact that that is not your problem. Dress how you want to dress. So don't worry about feeling overdressed. It's temporary. And don't worry about how others are going to react, because they will get used to it. They'll realize that this is who you are now. At that point, your red bottoms have become an extension of you. So own them. Now, part of that fear of being on the spotlight is worrying, what if I can't physically handle this? What if they start to hurt in the middle of the day and I start limping around in front of everyone? I'm gonna feel like a total idiot. That's a real fear. And honestly, it's one you can actually prepare for. If you're worried about whether or not you can handle wearing them out, you're worried about whether or not they're gonna be comfortable, that was one of my biggest concerns. What you need to do is give yourself the biggest safety net out there, to where it is physically impossible for you to not survive the day and not be comfortable. That is what I did. So I broke mine in for a month and a half, so I knew I could wear them all day. I made myself a Louboutin emergency survival kit with pretty much every single hack you can think of that you might need to be more comfortable in high heels. Then I brought a pair of flats with me, and guess what? Those flats have stayed in my car the entire time. I have never even worn them, but they're there. They are there. And that is huge, because you're taking away the excuse that you're gonna be uncomfortable, because you have a solution for every single possible thing that could make you uncomfortable. If the balls of your feet are starting to hurt, you have a cushion for that. If your pinky toe is hurting, you have a little silicone cover for that. If it's getting to be too much, you have a pair of flats that you can switch to. So you really don't have a good excuse to not wear them, because you have a solution. You created the biggest safety net for yourself. Getting to that point where I knew no matter what, like, I was good, that was a huge hurdle to get over. So if that's your biggest concern, is just you're not sure if you can handle it, if you can survive the day, do all those things to ensure that you can. When you're prepared like that, you've taken away every possible excuse that could keep you from walking out that door. So now you've done the work. You've prepared for the spotlight. You've reminded yourself that you're worthy. You get up that morning and you put on your Louboutins. You look in the mirror and you think to yourself, I got this. And then you head for the door. That's when it happens. Suddenly, all of those fears start rushing back at you. Oh my God, everyone's gonna stare at me. They're gonna think I'm ridiculous. I'm kidding, I could never pull this off. And that right there is where most people turn around, they take off their Louboutins, and they put their Uggs back on. Because facing both of those core fears at the same time is overwhelming. So when you're standing at the door and those fears are screaming at you, you need something more than logic, something more than just do it to get you through that door. You need tools, actionable tools. Let's talk about how we develop those internal triggers that are gonna ignite your confidence into action. There's several things that you can do to overcome this. First thing is, and it's something that I do every single day, is I put my shoes on and I stare at myself in the mirror. And I know that sounds conceited, but do it, just do it. Because when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see how amazing you look, you will instantly feel better about yourself, and you might finally realize, like, I am good enough to wear these. Like, there's literally no reason why I would not be good enough to wear them. So I do that every day. It's kind of an emotional, like, pick me up when you see yourself in them and you're like, man, I do look pretty good in these. That's number one. That's the first thing I would do. I would do that every single day. Just put them on and look in the mirror for a couple of minutes before you leave the house. I also have a couple of photos of myself dressed up, just in case if it's like the night before or something and you're feeling insecure about it. You can look at yourself in the photos and, you know, without actually having to try on the shoes, and you can remind yourself, man, I look really good in these. Of course I deserve to wear them. Like, why wouldn't I, right? If you have time, take a couple of photos of yourself in them. So when you're having a moment of insecurity, just look at those photos. Remind yourself that you look amazing and you do deserve to wear them. The other thing that I did, and this is more of a work-related thing, but I think this will work even if your goal is to just wear them out with friends or to date night. I actually have a little email folder where I saved every single positive response that I got on something I did, whether it was someone that said, thank you, you really saved my butt, you really helped me out. I really loved this project that you did, whatever it is. I actually save all those into a specific email folder. That way when I'm feeling bad about myself, I just go back and look at that folder and I remind myself of all those good things I've done, all those other things that people thought were amazing or that they were really grateful for. There may be other things, and maybe conversations you've had with friends where you really helped them out, where they were saying, oh my God, you're like the best friend ever, you know, stuff like that. Whatever it is, anything at all, honestly, in your life that makes you feel good about yourself or that reminds you of your own worth. Save it somewhere where you can go back and look at it, even if it's like a journal entry. If you do journaling, do that. But save it somewhere. That way when you're having a bad day or when you're starting to feel insecure about yourself, you can go back and look at that and remind yourself that no, you are worth it. You do deserve it. You're amazing. And you have proof right there, physical proof that you are amazing. Also, make wearing them about you. Sometimes in our lives, we get so busy being focused on helping other people out, right? Whether it's you have family members, significant others, friends, we get so focused on helping out others that sometimes we forget to focus on ourselves. Sometimes we forget that we matter too. The shoes as a reminder that you're worth it too. You're worth the time and attention and the investment. You're wearing them not because you need other people's approval, not because their opinion even matters, because it doesn't. You're wearing them because they make you feel like your best self, and always remember that. The next step is you need to create your own personal mantra. Something that really speaks to you and is the epitome of everything you feel and want to be in your red bottoms. In those moments when you're feeling like turning back, it helps to have your own personal mantra that's just gonna click you back in your brain to where you want to be. And depending on your greatest fear, it can be anything. You can use the Carrie Bradshaw line, because if your greatest fear is other people judging you for wearing expensive shoes, you can always remind yourself, if Carrie Bradshaw can prioritize shoes, so can I. And that can be your mantra. Or you can even use my favorite line, these are my walking shoes. That's a great one too. Or you can use the mama shark superhero trick. I like to think I'm not a mama, I'm a mama shark. It's like my superhero outfit where I go from feeling like a regular, just a mom to feeling like a mama shark. So if you have something similar that means a lot to you, use that as your mantra. One of my favorite quotes, and it's one that you'll see at the end of my documents and all my pages, is every step in red bottoms is a reminder that you're worth the investment. Now, I know a lot of you probably think that when I say investment, I'm referring to the shoes because they're expensive, but I'm not. By the end of this video, I think you'll truly understand that when I say investment, I mean you. You are the investment. That is why that one speaks so much to me, and that's a great mantra to have in your back pocket. If you're at the door and you're feeling like you're not good enough, remind yourself that you are the investment. Or create your own, whatever speaks to you. Just before you get to that door, create your own mantra. Say it to yourself over and over again before you even get there. The other thing I want you to do as you're at home wearing your heels, getting good at walking them, I want you to think about what about them specifically makes you feel confident. This is identifying your specific confidence trigger. This can be anything about the shoe that makes you feel good. It can be the sound of the heel tap clicking every time you walk, or every time you walk by a mirror, seeing that little red flash from the red bottoms. It can be how tall they make you feel, or how great they make your legs look. Even the weight of them on your feet. It's such a different feeling than when you're wearing like Uggs and sneakers. For me personally, it's how they feel when I put them on. I talk a lot about what I call is the Louboutin hug. And it's because Louboutins are so different. They're meant to be tight and they mold to your feet over time. To me, it feels like the shoes are hugging your feet. I love that feeling. It feels so amazing because it feels like not only is the shoe hugging your feet, but it feels like it's an extension of you. So it's that feeling when I put them on that keeps me going. I don't get that feeling with any other brands. So for me, that's my own personal confidence trigger. Once you start wearing them more often, you'll have so many positive experiences that it's just a cycle that'll keep reinforcing itself. This relates to everyone, whether you're going on a date, you're going to the grocery store, you're going out with friends, you're going to visit in-laws, wherever that it is that you want to wear them, you're going to feel more confident and you're going to portray that, and it's going to have an impact on everything that happens while you wear them, who you're talking to, who you're interacting with. No matter what, you're going to want to be your best self, and Louboutins will help you bring your best self out. So let them be that for you. If you go to work and you're wearing them and you're starting to shrink away inside, look down and look at your shoes and remind yourself of how awesome you are. When you're in a meeting and you're feeling like shying away and not speaking up when you should, look down at them and remind yourself that you deserve to speak up, and you definitely should, and do it. Use it to ask for a raise when you know you deserve it. Remind yourself, look down and say, you know what? I deserve this. And damn it, I want a new pair of Louboutins, so give me that raise. If you're on a date and you're starting to get nervous, look down at your shoes and remind yourself what a badass you are. Even if you're at the grocery store, if you see a cute guy or a girl at the grocery store, look down at your shoes and remind yourself of how awesome you are and go introduce yourself. Use them as your reminder to step up and do whatever it is you feel like doing at that moment. I want to read this quote that CNN did from Christian Louboutin because I think it explains perfectly why confidence and Louboutins go hand in hand. In the quote, he says, "A good shoe is a shoe which makes you feel good, look good, feel confident, engaged, and fierce. A good shoe is one which brings you joy when you think about it and when you wear it. They transform your body language and attitude. They lift you physically and emotionally. Just like the glass slipper makes people dream, I try to make my shoes create the same effect, to allow you to be whatever character you dream to be." Louboutin wanted to make something that made people feel empowered and confident. And I could not agree more with how these shoes make me feel when I wear them. They truly do. They change your whole body language. That inner confidence just comes out naturally when you wear them. They truly make me feel like my best self, more confident than I've ever felt in my entire life. And I want that for you. I want you to experience the same transformation. That is basically the goal of Louboutin with all of these designs that he makes. He wants women and men, everyone, to feel good about themselves, to feel like their absolute best self, to feel powerful and to feel confident. And I think that quote sums it up perfectly as to why Louboutins are so different and why it's so important, if whatever that struggle is that's holding you back, just to overcome that and go out and do it. I promise you will be so much better for it in the end. Because the reality is that a pair of shoes does not completely define you. It doesn't make you important. It doesn't make you special, but they do remind you that you are. They remind you of the fact that you are special, you are important, and you are worth it. Like the man said, a good shoe is a shoe that lifts you physically and emotionally. And he's right. But always remember, it's not the shoes that give you confidence, it's you. The shoes just let the world see it.
Now go out there, own them, and let the world see the mama shark in you.
The first day is always the hardest. If you can just get past that one day, just put them on. regardless of whatever you're feeling on the inside. I know you're probably going through this internal struggle, having a mini panic attack, but just do it. Put them on and wear them that one time. Just give yourself that one time to try it. It gets easier after that. Even if you don't have a perfect first venture out in them, it gets easier. It gets so much easier after that. And pretty soon, they will just become an extension of you. You will get so used to wearing them that it won't even matter anymore. You won't even have to think about it. You won't go through this panic before you go out. The first video, I gave you a 4 to 8 week training plan. For emotional confidence, it's a little bit different. Instead of a schedule, I've developed an emotional confidence toolkit. There's no timeline to it. It's not a week by week program. There's no pressure. It's just actionable tools that you can use to help overcome that fear and just get your butt out the door in those red bottoms. Some you only use once, others you may use more often. It's kind of like your own personal roadmap. I'm a nerd, so of course I created a printable guide and it's linked in the description. I shared my favorite tips for confidence in heels, but I know confidence looks different for everyone. What is your biggest confidence struggle? Drop it in the comments so we can continue tackling it together. And if you have any additional tips that we missed in this video, drop that in the comments as well so we can continue helping out other mama sharks build their confidence too.